As you probably know, iPads are expensive, but of course they're expensive for a reason, because they're good. They're good tablets. They're often regarded in many reviews by many people the best tablet that money can buy. But many people can't afford to spend, upwards of £400, $500 on a brand new iPad. So if you don't want an Android, but you're still on a budget, is an old iPad, such as this iPad 3 third generation that I've got here that came out in 2012, is that okay? Can you still buy one of these and have a very good tablet experience? Well, that's what I'm here for today. So the iPad 3, which came out in 2012, came with a 1 GHz dual-core processor, 1 GB of RAM, and it originally shipped with what I believe iOS 5, but it's still supported to this day. It has iOS 9.1 point whatever. I'm not sure we'll get iOS 10, but the fact it's still supported today is very impressive. So you can buy these now for about, I'd say about between £100 and £150 now on eBay, which basically puts it in competition with like the low-end Android budget tablets. Well, I guess that gives you an insight of what the speed of this device is now. I won't be carrying out new benchmarks with this tablet, but I will show you the Geekbench score that it scored a little while ago later on in the video. So first off, UI snappiness, right? I've got a few apps loaded on this, but not many, so it's not a fully loaded tablet. It's pretty much fresh with the addition, that's BBC News, with the addition of maybe, I don't know, about 10 extra apps, just over, maybe a bit more. So it's relatively fresh, and as you can see, it gets around the UI quite well. There's minimal delay. I mean, it's not instant, but you can live with this. I'm sure you could agree. And I'm sure if I had a £100 tablet right next to me, it would pretty much be on par in terms of user interface snappiness. So what about web browsing? Web browsing is definitely what I use tablets for the most. I believe they are fantastic web browser devices, and they sort of bridge the gap, in my view, between mobile phones, which I think is a little bit too small to enjoy full-size web pages, and laptops, which are a little bit too big and clunky to carry around wherever you want. So without further ado, we're going to go into Safari, the built-in browser, and I believe it'll go to Reddit. Yes, it is. So we'll just load Reddit up, whatever's on the front page, I suppose. Oh, it's Apple. Well, there you go. What a coincidence. So we'll just load the Apple page. You can get a general idea of how quick it is to snap around. Reddit usually is a pretty quick website to navigate. So now we're navigating Mac rumors. I'm just clicking on random links just to give you an idea. And as you can see, it's not lightning quick, but once the website loads, there's not too much lag. Yeah, a good test, I suppose, is the Daily Mail website. I mean, don't judge me. The Daily Mail website is usually pretty, should we say hardcore, I suppose? It's pretty intense for a device to load up, because it doesn't really come with, I think it comes with mobile, but not. Yeah, as you can see, this was the main reason why I don't really use this tablet anymore. Is because it just became a little bit too slow, personally. But other people might think this is okay, because, strictly speaking, it is okay. You just have to wait a little while longer for everything to load. But once things are loaded, you can navigate without any problem. Make of it what you will. Everyone has their own expectations. Just load a story. A lovely story about rape. It's not going to be too exciting or happy, but it's a story. We're doing this for science. I guess. Anyway, I hope that gives you an idea about web browsing on an iPad 3, i.e. an older iPad that's come out. Not too much delay, and as you say, once we're back in the user interface, all is well. So what about what I'd call the second most used thing for a tablet is video watching, primarily YouTube of course. So let's launch the app. Because this only has 1 GB of RAM, apps don't tend to be kept open in the RAM that often. You can maybe just about switch between two apps, but that's about it. Any more than that, then you're going to have to reload things. So we've got a lot of Pocket Now. Pocket Now, Pocket Now, Pocket Now. So let's just look at a Pocket Now video. Won't watch the whole thing, obviously, just show you, I don't know, 20-30 seconds. Oh, I've got an advert.
The world of mobile technology is one of the fiercest competitive markets.
I must say the speaker on this iPad is pretty good. It's only mono, but it does produce pretty decent sound. You wouldn't be disgusted at watching a video on this. Let's put it that way. So if we turn rotation off, which I think, oh, we can use the actual button. Modern iPads don't come with that, I don't believe. This video is playing in HD now without any problem, no stuttering, no drop frames. Let's see if it'll play in 1080p. A little bit of thinking time. I'm very close to the Wi-Fi, so this isn't an internet thing. This is the actual tablet itself processing it, and here we are, we're playing in 1080p.
1 in 10 smartphones sold globally last quarter was an iPhone.
And there you go.
That device, introduced in 2007.
So as you can see, if you're prepared to wait for the video, for the iPad to process the video in HD, then you can watch HD videos to your heart's content, which is fantastic. So in that sense, the iPad is brilliant still at playing video if that's what you use tablets for. So what about like multitasking? Say I wanted to flick quickly back to the internet. Well, as you can see, it hasn't really, we kind of stored it, I guess, in the RAM. And I wanted to flick back to YouTube. Can I use YouTube straight away once again? I can. So it will flick between two apps all right, although it's not, you know, it's not the last word in snappiness, let's be honest. I mean, look at that. 1 GB of RAM, that's just a physical limitation rather than processor. So what about Geekbench then? You've seen roughly how quick this tablet is with daily use. What about the raw figures? Not that raw figures tell the whole story, but some of you will be interested. I've done one before, so let's, instead of taking the time to do it all over again, let's show you this one. And this will look diabolical by modern standards, as I'm sure you could maybe understand. 492 on the multi-core. To give a perspective, my iPad Pro gets 5,500 on the multi-core, and my phone, which is an LG G3, gets about 3,000. So definitely out of date, obviously, you know, 4 years old. What do you expect? And there, oh, it's the Apple A5X at 1 GHz, 2 cores. I think that's what I said. Sorry if I misled you if I didn't. 987 megabytes of memory, so yeah, 1 GB of RAM. 1 GB of RAM in 2012 wasn't too bad actually. I believe the iPad before it had 512 megs, and the iPad before that had 256 megs, which must have been crazy. So what about more novel features? The camera. I mean, if you use the camera in public, then shame on you. As you can see here, I've got a note. Hopefully you can see the screen. I might be tilting it a bit too much, but what I've got here is I've got the camera, and I've got notes here, which is just notes for the videos. This is my iPad Pro, which is my new daily driver. This was my daily driver before that. And surprisingly, the camera is actually really good. I mean, it's only 5 megapixels, but it has a good depth of field, the colours are decent, and the focusing time isn't too bad either. You can, if you really wanted to, take this outside in public and get some really good photos with this. But for God's sake, I don't recommend it. The front camera is less impressive. I believe it's only 0.3 megapixels. You can see my camera setup. It's 0. Something megapixels, and you can definitely see that. It's very grainy, but again, the colours aren't too bad, but you can't do any zooming in or anything with the front camera, not that you'd want to. So yeah, the camera's alright, you know, which is a bit ironic for a tablet, but there you go. So, amazingly, this is a tablet that's still being supported by Apple, which means they believe it's still usable. And I suppose I better agree with them. I'm a tech geek, so I probably have a shorter temper in terms of how long I'm prepared to wait for devices to load than other people. For some people, especially with people who just want to watch videos at their own leisure and maybe check their emails every now and then, this would still be a very good tablet. But then again, there are new tablets in the price range that give better performance, you know, Android tablets. But if you really, really, really don't want to join Android, you can pick up a used iPad 3 and you can probably just about get a decent enough experience, but I wouldn't say it'd last you that many years. And let's be honest, I suppose we can end on a pro tip, okay? If you want your iPad to last longer, and I'm talking if you have a more modern iPad here, if you want your iPad to last longer, don't update it quite as much as I've updated this one. This has gone from iOS 5 to iOS 9.1. blah blah blah. And to be honest, in hindsight, it probably could have done without that. I reckon if I left this tablet on iOS 7, you know, updated it to the new funky graphics, if I just left it on iOS 7, I reckon it would be faster. But that's just that conspiracy I'm following here about Apple making devices slower as you update your thing. So whether you choose to believe that or not is completely up to you. But I don't understand how a device can get quite as slow as it was, because of course when I bought this was blazing fast. So I'm definitely following my iPad Pro. I might keep it on iOS 9 unless something amazing comes out. Anyway, I'm going off on here. So as you can see, this iPad, if you really, really, really want an iPad, then you can pick one up for cheap prices and you can get a half decent experience out of them as long as you're not expecting too much from them. But I definitely recommend you go for something different if you're willing to accept Android. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.